Good morning, Ms. Power. Welcome to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Your nomination as Ambassador to the United Nations has come with much fanfare and with some criticism, which at the end of the day means you must be doing something right. But without fanfare or criticism, I don't believe anyone can question your credentials, nor can anyone question your service. And certainly no one can question your willingness to speak your mind, often forcefully, always passionately, and usually without hesitation. And I commend you for your willingness to speak out, particularly on human rights issues around the world. Whether as a war correspondent in Bosnia, in the former Yugoslavia, Rwanda, and Sudan, where, as you said in your Pulitzer Prize-winning book on genocide, witnessed evil at its worst, you have been an unrelenting, principled voice when it comes to human rights and crimes against humanity. And I know that voice will be heard around the world should you be confirmed. Personally, I am incredibly appreciative of the principled position you've taken on many of these issues, but on the Armenian genocide. In 2007, you wrote in Time magazine, quote, "A stable, fruitful 21st century relationship," in referring to Turkey, "cannot be built on a lie." And I completely agree. Your belief that we should use the lessons of what clearly was an atrocity of historic proportions to prevent future crimes against humanity is a view consistent with my own and many others on this committee, and which is supported by your role on the President's Atrocities Prevention Board. I agree that we must acknowledge and study the past, understand how and why atrocities happen, to put into practice and giving meaning to the phrase, "never again." As the son of immigrants from Cuba, one whose family and friends bore witness to suffered and continue to suffer under the Castro regime's oppression, I personally appreciate your commitment to exposing the Castro dictatorship's total disregard for human and civil rights and for not idealizing the harsh realities of communism in Cuba. I know from the conversation we had in my office that you appreciate the suffering of the Cuban people, the torture, abuse, detention, and abridgment of the civil and human rights of those who voiced their dissent. I also welcome your commitment to reach out to Rosa Maria Paya, a daughter of the longtime dissident and Cuban activist Oswaldo Paya, who died under mysterious circumstances last year in Cuba. Ms. Paya is in Washington this week accepting a posthumous award from the National Endowment for Democracy on behalf of another young activist from Cuba who died alongside Oswaldo Paya, making your commitment to reach out to her that much more timely. And yesterday's news of the discovery of illegal arms shipments from Cuba to North Korea reinforces, in my view, the necessity of the United States to keep Cuba on the list of countries who are the sponsors of terrorism. I share your view that we should not lose sight of these moral issues even as we are addressing the pressing economic and security issues that confront our nation. It's fitting that you'll be at the United Nations, which was created after a period of atrocity and conflict with the goal of bringing nations together to achieve peace and stability. In the words of the UN preamble, it was created, quote, "to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and the equal rights of men and women of nations large and small." If confirmed, your focus on the United Nations will no doubt be on the crisis du jour, the Middle East, Syria, Iran, North Korea, Afghanistan, Pakistan, increasingly North Africa, and the nature of nations that emerged from the Arab Spring. But I would encourage you to also keep your focus and task your staff to what is happening off the front page as well as on it. What may be happening on freedom of expression in Latin America, fighting HIV, AIDS, malaria, and polio in Africa, on the status of talks to resolve the 66-year-long question of Cyprus, on women's rights in Pakistan, labor rights in Bangladesh, and human rights in Sri Lanka. The UN, for all its faults, has a great ability to serve as an arbitrator, a neutral fact-finder, and overseer of peace. I urge you to harness its strengths in the interests of our nation, and not coincidentally, in the interest of fulfilling the stated purpose of the United Nations, which is to unite our strength to maintain international peace and security.